was a war, why did we fight? There's one sea, one time, one earth, so you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, make peace, make peace, peace. Alright, isn't it time, brother, stop dying? Isn't it time, mother, stop crying? Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, in peace, in peace. Alright, peace, peace, together. Peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the main event. Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Yes, folks, I am here. Thank you for joining me on Shadow Chasing Show. Yes, I am your host, Derrick Whiteskycloud. We got a great show tonight. We got lots to talk about, and it's going to be a very strange one, so to speak, because it's dumb. It's called strange, dumb, stupid, you name it, everything on top of that. There is, let's get started. I mean, there's some really crazy things happening. Thank you guys for joining me on the Facebook chat room. Those are actually in also the YouTube chat room, and also we are going over towards Rumble and as well as you on Telegram. I should drop this in, but Telegram too, by the way, before I forget. Let's do this. Screen this up for a second, guys. Un momento. I'm not Italian. It's one of the word I learned. Or no, Spanish. Say, take it back. That's an insult. Well, Spanish and apparently Spanish and Italian is almost close. Let's see here. Gonna drop that piece into. Let's see. Pick that up and put it here. No, where is it here? Yeah, that one. I'm going to drop this into my, I forgot to drop it in my Telegram, so we can do that right now and take care of that first. Okay. Yes, we have a lot to talk about because this, I mean, everything you've actually seen is written on the screen. It's not just about just acts and the tax. There's so much stuff to talk about. We have been taxed or being taxing taxed. I guess we're getting overtaxed. Let's go further back in time. Okay. If you guys remember during the Arthurian time periods, where pretty well even Robin Hood, okay, let's go back to Robin Hood, where the sheriff was taxing every farmer, poor man, you name it. They were being taxed for even just waking up in the morning. They were not allowed to wear a certain color of clothes. If you're not rich, you had to wear black and brown clothes. You were not allowed. And if you're seen with other kinds of colors in your clothing, if you wore a yellow ribbon or a red ribbon, or whatever, how kind of ribbon, then you'd be arrested and taken to jail because you're considered as a low life, useless, you name it. That's what they do. So this is, I mean, I'm not talking about just Robin Hood, but just basically time period. There was a lot of rules and laws passed back then that even in European countries, other countries, women were not allowed to even wear certain colors unless you were rich. You were never to wear purple unless you were rich. You were never wear to bright colors unless you were rich. So, and if you're caught with money, if you're caught with coin in your hand, being a poor person caught with coin, they call you a thief, because you have to prove that you're very rich. You have to have a sir or madam name. This is how crazy it is. This is the way it was those as far back as you can think. Society, every government, every corporation has been doing this for such a long, long time. They have been trying to take monies away from every generation for thousands and hundreds of years, taxing us to death. Now, the worst taxing of all is, I mean, I did the research and I was trying to figure out all the countries across the world that's being taxed greatly. You know where it actually winds down to? Canada. We are the most and the highest tax bracket in Canada. We have been taxed so high, and you think about it, I went through some of the prime ministers every year, I mean, every generation, and not one prime minister was, I mean, the only time there was a higher tax bracket or beginning of a tax bracket was during the Second World War, because they needed people to be taxed so they can actually help the war act, or the war to support the war. Okay, fine. That's fine. But their promise was in 1951 that the war tax would be removed. They didn't remove it. Anytime they said they're going to remove something, they never removed it. Then they'll say, well, we'll give you a tax reduction and we'll just give you back a little X amount of dollars and say, here, how's this? Will this help you? No, your tax money is your money. It's not theirs. It's corporation money. It's not government money. It never was. Your government, all your governments, okay, especially this country in Canada, our governments today have been taxing us ridiculously by the last prime minister that we've got. And this fake TM, okay, or not TM, but JT, this fake JT, he's supposed to tax us. He's supposed to tax us greatly and as high as possible. Why is he doing this? Because he's supposed to get you pissed off. Basically, to go and do the same thing what France is doing right now to this day. France is fighting back. They're saying, no, don't do this, don't do that. Let me move this over a little bit here so you guys can see me better. And say hello to my friend back here. There's Alien, and look at that. It says on there, he says, axe the tax. My puppet. So, yeah, like I said, this is what's going on, folks. And the thing is, this is getting to be crazier and crazier all the time. We're being taxed and they're using climate change to tax us. They're using the word climate change. Do you know, I'm not sure a lot of you folks out there, you may not realize, but the people that created carbon, okay, created this like basically called the carbon footprint, or the carbon, I don't know what also what other words you want to use, climate change. Okay, this is what's really gets me. They're calling it climate change. There is no climate change. It's climate changed with a D on the end. And the reason why, because Mother Earth is doing this herself. It has nothing to do with us. Nothing. We are not, our Earth is not dying, folks. It's actually very, very healthy. Okay. In British Columbia, we have 0.001% emissions. That's the lowest that British Columbia has ever had in this entire country. Why? Because everyone's become more aware of taking care of the environment, except the worst part of the environmental problem now today, the biggest carbon, thank you very much, Scott, climate crisis. They're calling it a crisis in the States. Do you know that your biggest climate our carbon problem comes from the RUV, or yes, it's our electric vehicles that are actually far worse carbon carriers than your common gasoline fueled vehicles. Okay. For example, in China, if you look at some of the pages, I'm going to show you guys. I will bring this one up. I'm going to do this. There's a fellow who his name is Serpenza. Now he's been in China for, I mean, he's actually has, I think he's South African, but he's been living in China for about, I think he said 11 or 15 years. And he's learned how to speak Chinese, that sort of thing. Let's see, EV cars. Okay. Now I bring this down until I got rid of all that garbage. Okay. I'm going to show you guys. You guys think that your that your Tesla cars are clean. You think your cars are perfect. You think your Teslas, your EV cars are fine. They're not. Your charging stations are run on diesel. Get it? They're not run on electricity, because if you ran all of your charging stations on electricity, your power stations, your power centers will actually crash. There's not enough power on this earth to power all your vehicles that are EVs. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you guys. This is important. You need to see this. If you haven't seen it, look it up. So this is about, this fellow's name is Serpenza. He goes by the name of Serpenza. It says China is throwing away fields of electric cars, letting them rot. Gee, I wonder why they're letting them rot. Well, we'll find out. Here we go. I'm going to move this over to, hang on a second. I'm going to get you guys grabbing the screen so you can see it in there as well. Okay. This is for you guys to see. And please, I'm going to show you a little bit of this, but you're going to see fields and fields and fields of these cars. And he's going to explain to you why. Okay. This is why you need to know this. It's all based on, they're calling it climate change. No. Look at the mess they left in China. And they've actually taken their cars They're EV cars. They're trying to sell them back, or trying to not back, but they're trying to sell them to us to take their crap, and they want us to use them here in this country. They have the same problem in their country. So here goes.
In the rest of the world, you'll see the headlines that say, China is now the leader in EV sales, and Tesla's got to watch out, and all this other nonsense. Well, guess what? It's true. The numbers are true. But what you're not taking into consideration is that China is the land of shortcuts and facades. And all of these cars that you're seeing in this field, well, they're counted in those numbers. Let me explain to you what's going on. Should be around. Yes.
I forgot his advertising. Wait, hang on. Let's pass this here.
You're riding in a field, in the woods, a hidden log, a hole in the ground.
Okay, let's go past this. He's advertising a product. Hang on. Normally he does it in the end. Here we go.
You see the Netta Vs and the BYDs and the bigger brands that you see huge amounts of them just parked out to rot. Well, you see, that's because they need the numbers in order to get subsidies from the government, in order to put out the sales figures that they've sold more than Tesla and that they're leading in EV production and EV sales. They need to have these fake sales. So BYD themselves will register them and put them on the market and then claim that they've been sold. And then, of course, they've got all those excess cars and they just stick them in a field. And
you can make history tomorrow.
But there's a bigger problem. There are even more car graveyards. And that has to do with this stupid investment scheme. Let me explain. In China, very often you get these fly-by-night investment schemes. Someone comes up with a good idea like bicycle sharing, for instance. And guess what? People jump on the bandwagon. They raise a bunch of investment capital. They start a company. We saw it go absolutely crazy with the shared bicycle schemes. We covered this on the China show, where we showed these mountains of bicycles that had been discarded because the companies knew that if they pumped these bikes out, they'd keep getting investment. So they just kept pumping them out, even when it wasn't financially viable, because like a Ponzi scheme, you just keep getting your investment money in. And all of these bike companies pretty much shut down except for two. And a lot of the people that started these bike companies ran away with the investment money, never to be seen again. The bicycle sharing schemes kind of came to an end in late 2018. And then suddenly, and because the bicycle sharing investment scheme had now disappeared, people stepped in with a new investment scheme.
See all those bicycles, guys? Look at the fields and fields of bicycles. Those are EV bicycles, the ones that we would see in Vancouver or any EV stations that you rent. Okay? And you think you're saving money? If you're going to get a bicycle, get your own. If you don't want to drive a car, fine, get a bicycle. But why should you bother? Look at all these. Look at this. And these are EVs. They're all green. We see these ones here in Vancouver. Okay, and the ones they got also at EV bikes in Surrey, and also where City Hall is. Think about this. Look, guys. Look, see that? Look here. Look. All that. Those are regular bicycles over there on the far end, far left on his over his shoulder. But most of them are EV bikes. They're all run on you know what. Okay, so let's continue.
For shared vehicles, and this time it was for electric cars. Now there's this fantastic video which I'm going to link below in the description. You can see it in the background here, but there's a documentary filmmaker who went and took drone footage of the shared bikes, and he made this video called No Place to Place in 2018, where he showed all of these massive mountains of the shared bike failures. But he then went in 2019 to film the fields of abandoned electric vehicles.
Look at this.
So this is No Place to Place 2. And what you're seeing are these fields of shared cars. You see, the idea like shared bicycles would be that you have an app. And if you need a car, you can look in your app and see, oh, there's a shared car nearby, a shared electric.
Now, you see these cars? They look so familiar. 2 years ago, you see those in Vancouver. People will rent them for a day or whatever have you. they look like those little, rear ends that the ones that have a short rear end, as if you kicked it right in the ass. You guys know what they are. Well, look at these. I mean, come on. This is and these vehicles are next to brand new. They're not 5, 10, 20 years old. They're brand new, and some of them actually, if you see here on the side, the number, the 400 607 this is rental. You can rent these, but they can't rent them because the batteries go boom boom. There's fires. That's why they're in the field.
Vehicle, and you go and you unlock it with your app, and you can drive to your destination and then lock it again. It's actually a nice idea. It's not a bad idea at all. But of course, because it's all a money grab and it's a ridiculous scheme and a Ponzi scheme type situation in China, they just pump these things out without doing proper market research, without actually seeing if it was viable or not. And so the end result is fields and fields of thousands of hundreds of thousands of abandoned vehicles that are now going to rot. Now, this is where it gets insidious. These cars are electric vehicles, and that means they have batteries in them. So not only have you created a lot of waste by developing cars that are not going to be used and that are going to be left to rot, I mean, steel and glass and liquids and chemicals and all the rest that goes into it, but the batteries. Everybody knows that these electric batteries that are used in electric vehicles are incredibly complicated and require a lot of very dangerous mining and chemical processes to create. There are human rights atrocities attached to making these batteries, if you want to look into it, child labor, slave labor, that kind of thing. But the detriment to the earth in mining all of these chemicals and all of the materials needed to create these electric vehicle batteries is just insane. So now you've created all of this environmental damage to make these cars, and then you just let them rot in a field. And of course, now they're going to create even more environmental damage because they're going to sit there for however long with all of these chemicals and batteries in them and all the rest of it. And they're going to pollute the environment further. So it's like a double whammy. Not only have you damaged the environment making them, but now you're damaging the environment by discarding them. And this is where China tricks everyone. You see, you hear about their great green initiatives, this being one of them. Oh, look, China's really pushing forward in renewable energy and electric cars. And if you just read headlines and you look at the numbers, etc., you would think China's doing a very good job. But what you're not seeing is the fact that China is actually destroying the earth at a rate never before seen. So you have to look past the facade, and people still don't seem to get this. China is an opaque country. They block all of this information from the rest of the world. You would not be able to just see this. If a company does something like this in the West, you bet your bottom dollar there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. A lot of big news outlets will cover this. There will be, heads will roll. People will have to reply to this. The companies would have to pay some kind of a fine for damaging the environment or for doing bad things like this, like an oil spill or something like that. We know that there are ways to deal with these things, but because we don't see these things in China, nothing gets done. These massive fields of electric cars just sit there rotting. China's green technology initiatives that you keep hearing about are mostly bullshit and a smokescreen to hide the fact that they're doing all sorts of environmental crimes. And remember, it's all about turning a profit. It's not about saving the environment or anything like that. It's a propaganda push and it's a money grab. They want your investment. They'll say, hey, look, invest in China, invest in these green initiatives. You feel good, you go and invest your money. It's being used for wasteful projects like this that really damage the earth. So think twice before investing in China. And if you want to find out more about what's going on in China, I'm talking about up-to-date, down-to-the-wire news, events, and everything else in between, come and join me for the China Show on Friday. This is my live show that I do with my business partner, Lawa86, where we cover what's new in China, the soft power hour, the Wu Maos, the haters, the everything else. It's fantastic. It's a lot of fun. It's comedic, serious, and everything in between. So I hope to catch you there on Friday.
So now you guys know this is the beginning of what has been going on. And this is what I wanted to share with you guys because I find it's important that you need to understand that this is not something that is just starting out. We haven't None of us have actually, people say, oh, Teslas are just coming out. They've been out for a long time. The EVs, like he said, for the last 10 years, they've been already out. China starts off with its own EVs a long time ago. But again, like he said, there's slavery and child labor all the time, making creating these batteries. That's why these batteries don't work very well. That's why things are going bad. That's why China does not want you to know what's going on outside the country. Okay. And I've watched Serpanza for a long, long time. He's actually been sharing a lot of great programming that helps to benefit you, the real China, what's going on. Sure, we had things that are going like, and for example, we talked about, WHAN, but that's a little different. He was there when this all came down, and he can tell you stuff that would blow you away. Him and his wife, and I'll be honest with you guys, him and his wife and his child had to escape China. He was in danger. The military threatened his life and told him that to stop what he's doing, to share this to the public, or he would be taken away. And you know what, right? Now, his wife is a doctor. She's Chinese, and she's a very well-known, very well-respected doctor. And they fell in love, just natural, regular marriage. And he dated her for quite a couple of years, and they got to know each other. And then she said to him, and he said to her, "Let's get married." And we do love each other, but she chose to leave China too. It wasn't his say we had to leave. She wanted to leave too because she did not want to lose her child, nor lose her husband or herself. So they had to make the escape, and now they came to, I believe he's moved to United States. He was in the United States for a while. Okay. And yeah, it's not just China, but like I said before, this is ongoing. Thank you, Scott. EV research was occurring in 1930s, and even they realized its issues and problems. Yeah, it has been. Pardon me. Not sick. I'm just sneezing. That caught me off guard. When the furnace comes on, we got dust coming out of the furnace. But anyways, what happens is we had electric cars a long time ago, back in the 30s. Yes, they did happen. I got videos of electric cars that did exist that ran by electricity, but they were far more, they were much better than these ones here. They ran by electricity, not by battery. It was then a lot different. Okay. Most people think that they were run by battery. Again, they did not. There were cathedrals that were in, like, you look at all these towers that look like points, okay, peaks on these towers of all these high, large buildings, old buildings back in the 30s and 40s, 50s. Those are called cathedrals, and they were used. That was actually electrical current, and that was free energy, and that was going right directly to the vehicle, where the vehicle can still be in control. There was a small battery, but the batteries are not the size of the ones you see today. They're much smaller, but they weren't full of all the toxins, and those batteries ran freely, and those cars ran well, and they ran for miles and miles and miles. They didn't have to get charged because the cathedrals kept it running all the time. It was safe. It was organic. Now, why did they not continue on doing it? Because of the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds said no. Okay. JP Morgan, no, I want to make money here on this. This is free. So I want to start using gasoline and call it a fossil fuel, and we want to make money on it, so we're going to put it on the stock market. And yet Tesla was trying to keep on doing the same thing, bringing this in, but for some reason, again, he also, JP Morgan turned on Tesla and screwed him badly. Okay. And then, so down the road, this is how all this began. Okay. So the thing is that, are we going to have the real natural cathedrals? Yes, they're coming out soon. That's why the 5G towers are no longer be calling 5G. They're going to be like another cathedral, which will be organic. It's all being changed. We're not going to have to worry about the birds dying as soon as they land on top of those towers, because a couple of years ago, some of those 5G towers that were on, not in our area, but far other countries, there were, especially in Europe, the birds were landing on top of the 5G towers, and they were automatically dying right there on the spot. and they would fall. You'll see like 20 of them on below every day, dying, dead, because they were right next to that unhealthy 5G towers. The 5G towers are not on right now and never will be. They won't be on until they will change that, upgrade it, and will be organic. It won't harm us once it's repaired, and they will be, well, they're being repaired now as we speak, but they're not turned on at all. Okay, so some people are still thinking, oh, it's going to be on. No, don't worry about the 5G. It's going to be better than you think. Okay, don't even think about the word 5G. It's organic. It'll all come out that way. Keith says in chat room, the amount of carbon in the world atmosphere is 0.4%. How much of that carbon is man-made? And if the world's carbon falls to 0.2%, plant live will start dying off. Well, anyways, the thing is that we are carbon ourselves. We flatulate. Cows, animals of all sorts, large animals of all sorts, they're all carbon. They release carbon. Everybody does. Every animal does. And yet Bill Gates, and we need to go there, folks, on this. I want to bring this up for you. I mean, if you guys need to understand, it was your elites, okay? It was your Illuminati people that created, they sat down for these last, say 20 or so years, and they sat down together and say, okay, let's start something here. We need to get the people scared. Let's start all these big V's and scare them. Let's create some, let's create some viruses. Let's create some toxins. Let's create some flus. And that's what they had done. They put the panic in the public, and then they had to create a sickness. And that's what they've been doing for the last 70, 80 years, is creating sicknesses. And even before that, they were creating sicknesses way before that. And they're experimenting on so many different kinds of people from every race, even including the military. Okay. And so it's very common. That's what they had done. These corporations were wanting to control us as a population. That's why. That's why I'm bringing this up. Now, I talked about a little bit about this before, but I wanted you to know the factual truth about what really is going on, because these vehicles that most people think, now they actually, I was announced about a week ago or so, they're recalling the Teslas. Why? Because number one, there's two faults: the batteries, and the other fault is actually there's the mechanics or the electric panels. They're apparently locking people in, or it's working and it's actually driving on its own independence without the person be able to drive behind the wheel. It locks them out from actually being in control. So they're having too many accidents. So it's robotic controlled. It's actually, these are called, I call the Tesla suicide cars, because that's exactly what they are. They're suicide cars. If you want to be behind the wheel, then, and if you don't want to do anything, I mean, if you think about it, there was a movie that was out when Arnold Schwarzenegger was in it, and they were showing this robotic cab driver, and he was in the back seat, and he's supposed to take you to a location. Okay. There were also battery operated another movie that had battery operated car, and that was with Sylvester Stallone. Okay. They've always been trying to create electronic cars where you don't have to be behind the wheel and the car would drive. But yet everybody went, if you look at it and through the movie, for example, so Stallone, he went, and then when they said that the electric or the gasoline powered car was in a museum, this is what I found kind of interesting. They found this GT car in the museum. This is supposed to be the future, in their museum. And the funny part is, this is what really gets me. They're fighting, whatever have you in the scene, and then Sylvester Stallone jumps into the car, turns it on as if their gasoline never went bad, turned it over and drove out. Time cop, yes. Well, like Time Cop. But he just turned the car over after he's supposed to have been dead about 130 years. They had him in a freeze, where they freeze the body for 130 years. And then Demolition Man, that's the one, Scott. So he was in Demolition Man. If you look at it, some of those things, folks, that was all with GTO. Yeah. That was all the hints to show you that all of this is going to happen in the future. Okay, this is what was supposed to have been. We weren't allowed to even swear. We weren't allowed to do so many things. They give you points, like you, oh, that's good, that's terrible. Then you got to pay for it. There was no money transaction. It was by credits. You had to earn by credits. And this is what our government's trying to do right now. They want us to do the same stupid crap, is credit. There's no longer having to use cash. Why they're not using the cash? Because we are not in control of it. You see, we can do what we want with our own cash, and the government wants to know everything about you. That's why it's called carbon footprint. Okay, wherever you walk, wherever you go, they know exactly where you are by using your cell phone. Okay, using your whatever you've got on hand, like your wristwatch and anything, or even by that time you may have a little implant in your wrist and go like, oh, where am I going here? They'll find you. They want to track you. They want you to implant a tracker. Well, if you don't get this implant tracker, then what if you get lost one day? Then we can find you. Do you know what's inside that tracker? There's also a little item in there. If they don't like you, they can go, you're gone. They can stop your heart. You're not here anymore. If they disagree for what you think, for your own thought beliefs, and who else? Somebody actually was a thought police officer, and he played in the movie Mission Impossible. But he actually did a movie called. He was actually represented as a thought police officer. He never committed a crime, but in the future he's supposed to commit a crime. But they thought he was going to commit a crime. What's his name again? Okay. I can't remember the name of the movie. So he was supposed to commit a crime, but he didn't commit the crime. And then they find the Minority Report. Thank you very much, Scott. So Minority Report, actually, then they decided to go after him himself, who actually was playing the time cop. And next thing you know, or Minority Report cop, then they decided to go after him himself personally because they wanted him to be the bad guy because he was doing too good of a job. You see, because he was investigating what was really going on, and he actually was calling people out in their bullshit. So they were killing people off. These minority cops were killing people off for no reason because that person never did actually kill anybody or had thought about killing anybody. People say, "Well, I'm going to kill you." Doesn't mean you're going to do it, but but it's in your thoughts. When you use those words, okay, that's why people are attentively on us right now to this day, telling us you can't say these words. That's why they have algorithms in all of your social networks. They're listening to everything you say. They don't want you to say anything. And if you use any kind of threat, whether it's just a funny threat or just joking around, like even if a person says, "Oh, F you," you're not supposed to say that. Oh, if I said I don't like Trudeau, if I said, "Oh, I hate the guy," the next thing you know, they're going to take it literal. Well, you're not supposed to hate him. You're supposed to like him. So I'm going to give you a fine. Or if you think bad things about me or think bad things about our government, we're going to give you a fine. We're going to take you to jail. Now, give me a break. This is exactly what our Canadian government is trying to do. They're trying to scare you, and most likely it'll happen in the U.S. too. Okay? I'm not talking about Trump. I'm talking about your fake Biden. Okay? He might play the same game and say, "You know what, Trudeau's not a bad idea. Maybe I should try that too." Or his people will help him make it. Right? And then you're gonna go, "No, under my dead body." Let's see. In fact, one of the Mission Impossible movies, they planted small explosive implants into people's heads. Yes, and they've been doing it for years. And if I remember correctly, they even did that in the James Bond movie. They had an implant in their head. If you didn't succeed, then they would. If you didn't succeed, then you. And they did the same thing with the DC Comics. Okay, the DC Comics, which was the who was that group? The group was the movie guys. Think of it. The non-heroes. They put an implant in every one of their heads, and if they didn't do what they're told, then they just blow them up. If I remember seeing the movie, I can't remember correctly. But anyways, the DC Comics, they did the same thing. They're showing you the same stuff. They're showing you what they can do. Okay, they're trying to show you this is what they can do. Already is happening. Look at the 76ers. Yes, the J6ers. Now, look at all our people that are been snake bitten. Okay, your snake bites that you've been getting, guys. Your snake bites. There's also an additional item in there to control you. It's part of it, because that's why people, if you notice, there's a lot of people having a lot of suicides, anger issues, which they never had before. They're happy people. They don't have the happiness in them anymore. They lose their smile. They're more miserable looking. There's like that look, they're angry look all the time, or they don't know why they're striking out at someone. It's because of what was put into the arm, the first one. Okay, the first snake bite. I'm not kidding you. So you can remove it. And there are people actually out there to this day have actually had implants put into them, trackers, and these people never knew about it. They're in their arms. There's a guy who actually has a tracker, and he says, "Can I look at your arm?" Sure. Found it. And then he said, "Here, I got a little special machine." Popped it right out. Looked like a little small capsule. Okay. So, thing is that, we, like Tom says, 60 to 80 years behind in technology. We're not really behind technology. We were way ahead of technology back in the late 1700s, and then they made us go back to the old technology. They made us go back to pioneering all over again, is because they wanted to control the masses. They don't want us to be smart. That's why this is all about it. Now, let's go further. Okay. We've got people right now outside. Comic book you're talking about, was it the Watchmen? No, it was DC. It was the okay, let me think. The girl with the baseball bat, the Joker's girlfriend. Okay, she was part of that team. That's what I'm thinking of. So let's talk about Harley Quinn. Thank you. That's who it is. Suicide Squad. If you look at Suicide Squad, and the woman who actually was supposed to be on working for the government, the black lady, I can't remember her name, but she played, and she was evil as all hell. Anyways, she ordered an implant to put into everyone's neck, and if they didn't do her bidding, then she just has a little button, push the button, and she blows their head off. So one of the guys decided to make the escape to figured he was going to get away from her, and he started running away, and he climbed up the wall, whatever have you, and she just pushed a button and his head blew off. I mean, really? So, I mean, this is supposed to be for kiddies to watch? Children? DC comic? Well, we're going to blow his head off. So, I've noticed that our comics are become a little more violent, way more violent than they used to. I mean, they talk about it, you want to see who the good guy is, the white hat and the black hat, and the superhero, and who's the bad guy. You can't even tell who the good guy and the bad guy is anymore, because they make the good guy turn bad, the bad guy turn good. So it's all switching around. Anyways, what I want to bring up, and this is one of the samples of Pierre Polyev. He hosts the Axe Attacks campaign rally in Edmonton. Now, this is actually done 7 days ago. I want to bring this up because this also relates to our EVs, our vehicles. But I want you guys to see this, because this is what he actually created. I'm not sure if you've actually seen the campaign, but this is what they're showing you. Just a little bit of this. Okay, I'm not going to use City TV. Let's do, I'd rather see it this Now, let me use this. Let's use the straight mainstream media. This is the way they're going to show it. They're going to show it in a way, their way, to get you to believe that we ourselves are the bad guys and then the government's doing the right thing. And I'm going to show you the real truth. Okay, some really good stuff. So let's go here and let's stop this commercial, because always a commercial before I get started. More commercials. Skip that. Okay. Now this is actually City TV, City News. This is up in Edmonton. I'm going to bring this up here. And watch this. Now, don't believe what the mainstream media tells you. Just watch carefully, because they're going to make it where we are the bad guys. You watch.
50 people are here mad about the federal carbon tax increasing on April 1st, met by almost as many RCMP members, including the tactical support.
Now, number one, the mistake that that BCT or that City News had said, there was only 50 people that are protesting. 50 people. There weren't 50 people. There was 1,500 people. Okay, they were there. All they did is show the front line. If you see the video itself, folks, all you'd see, sorry, I forgot to turn it around. All you'd see is just only the front line. You're seeing only a few trailers in the front. These people are just arriving. The protesters are just arriving. They're just coming in now at the time. The mainstream media was already called in ahead of time. This is not the end of the day. This was not just the middle of the afternoon. The police showed up. Okay, now understand this, guys. Please understand this. Those police officers came in with guns, with rifles. They came in armory. They came in on tactical wearing uniform. This is tactical wearing uniform. But the crazy part of it is, and you need to understand this before you go any further, these weapons that these officers are carrying are not Canadian officers. These are not Canadian, used by the Canadian officers. They never were ever used. These have grenade launchers in them. Grenade launchers. Okay? A friend of mine who was in the military stated, he said, those are not true RCMP or police. They are police in disguise, and they're military. They are not our Canadian military. They are a hired American army pretending to be police, because their tactics are different, and they march like American officers, not Canadian. Watch. I want to point this out to you guys. Here we go.
Support team keeping an eye on protesters.
Like, we have no idea yet how hard it's going to be. But just talking to the people that have showed up in the last couple of days, people that have messaged on Facebook, you know, they're worried about losing their farms. They're worried about losing their ranches. They're worried about how they're going to feed their kids. There are people saying, I can't even afford the gas to take me to work.
There are a couple of campers scattered throughout the area, with people saying they intend to stay here as long as they can. It's been described to me as a family reunion where it's actually acceptable to talk politics. People are seeing friends they met at other protests or friends that they've met online.
Now, this was late in the afternoon. I want to bring this up to you guys. It's late in the afternoon. People are entertaining each other. There were people out there, but here's the thing. If you notice that the police are gone, and what the police had done, they were marching out there. They were telling everybody, and they threatened everyone and said, if you go anywhere near the highway, or if you show any protesting signs, you will be arrested and taken to jail. They brought in well over 100 police officers, over 100 plus officers, to arrest everybody. Okay, and if nobody obeyed their own rules or what they were yelling at you, now there were people still trying to communicate with the officers and said, you know, when we want your name and your badge number. They refused even to show their identity. In fact, some of the officers covered their faces all up in tactical form. They wore sunglasses and masks because they don't want you to know who they are, which is wrong. Okay. Number two, what they had done was the officers refused to talk to any citizen, which is wrong, because the RCMP is supposed to work with you as a community officer, not as treat you like as if you're a piece of shit. Okay. And yeah, Scott, if it could be Blackwater. And also the people themselves there, they were very peaceful people, very peaceful. Like you said, it's like a family gathering. But this is outside of Edmonton. This is not Calgary. Calgary was even bigger. Okay. Edmonton is a little bit farther north, about 2-hour drive. So the people are still trying to bring awareness. This was happened October the 1st, April Fool's, April Day, right? This is to say axe the tax. This is the protest. And the people are just there for one specifically for one reason, to let the public know that they're not the farmers, the homeowners, businesses are all going to suffer because they're raising the taxes higher. Your exemptions of anything else, like the government's going to say they're promised going to give you a deduction, is bullshit. You're not going to get anything. That's just a bloody They're saying they're just giving you a promise. They're not going to give you nothing. They're tripling your tax. They've already double taxed now. They're triple taxing. Albertans are never supposed to be taxed. Albertans are only supposed to receive one tax only. They're the only province that receives only gets one tax only. Trudeau wants a triple tax. Okay, so this is why they're protesting, and they're going after the farmers. They're raising the price of gasoline. They're raising the price of food, especially chocolates. They're raising anything that we love organically. They want to raise the prices on that. Okay. And yes, they don't care if you're living on the reservation. They're going after you as well. Trust me, guys. Just here it goes. Taxes are illegal.
Support from people driving by was constant throughout the day. Around a third of the semi-trucks driving by honked in support. While traffic was redirected briefly on Monday due to people on the road, traffic wasn't significantly impacted Tuesday. Alberta Premier Danielle Smith issuing a reminder the blocking traffic isn't allowed.
Now, you see those officers standing there, and they're not communicating with anyone. In fact, they're not even communicating amongst themselves. They are supposed to stare at you and humiliate you. If you notice, every officer there, none of them, and I will say this now, none of them are actually Canadian. I bet you they're all American. Why? Because a Canadian officer will not treat you like garbage. And each of them has a certain little pin that they wear on their vest that represents an American soldier. So they're hired to pretend to humiliate you. That's what they're there for. And they were carrying weapons. These guys are carrying rifles with grenade launchers. I'm not kidding you guys. This is for real. I've got photographs of that.
I'm just asking people to accept that we have a Critical Infrastructure Act in place, and I don't endorse it when left-wing activists want to block bridges and roads, and I don't endorse it when people who are opposing carbon taxes also want to block.
By the way, there was nobody, the public themselves, the protesters never did block the traffic. It was the police officers. They got on the highway. The police officers were on the highway with their cars and their big trucks. I got videos of that. They are the ones that stopped the traffic from driving down the highway, and they were blaming the protesters. There was proof there. There was video recorded. It was proof. Yes, that is true. Badlands, Ojibwe, Canada's version of Standing Rock. Trudeau's bringing in the mercenaries. You're right. That's exactly what this is. It's a repeat of Standing Rock, and it's going to go even harder. You watch. I remember Standing Rock. One of my best friends was down there and spent time with, oh my God, with the chiefs and the elders, and also Uncle Crow Dog, when Crow Dog was there, when he was alive then, and he was at the Standing Rock. So I know about this. Yeah, I'm hoping this doesn't turn that way, because people got hurt, seriously got hurt. The American military there were horrible. I mean, yeah, it was the way it turned itself out. We were trying to let people know this. We're not violent people. We're just trying to we don't want to be taxed. Enough is enough. But they are warning people that if you are protesting, they're going to arrest you, take you away, put you in jail. And then when they said, we're going to put you in jail just as long as the ones that actually are doing time in Coots in Alberta, they've already been in there for almost 300 days. Oh, sorry, take it back. Almost 3 years. Okay. The guys have been, there's 2 guys out of the 4, 2 are still left in prison, and they're almost 400. What is that amount of days? 177, like 3 years. And they've never been sentenced, but they've been held there, and they're skinny. They're half their size now. They've been starved to death damn near in Calgary at remand. So it's really, really bad. We have a corrupt government here in Canada, and it's horrible. And when Jason Kenney was premier, he was the worst. I mean, he was the one that ordered these guys to be behind bars. And when she herself tried to rescue these guys, she wanted them out of jail. She wanted to get them out of jail. And then she got approached by Kenny's people and said to her, keep your nose out of it. I'm not kidding you. His people came up to her and said, keep your nose out of it. Or if and she got startled. So certain things have to be taken care of.
Bridges and roads.
RCMP saying the protest so far has been peaceful with no tickets issued.
Our approach right now is to identify if there is an issue, whether it's someone driving.
By the way, that piece of black, what you see there laying on the side of the road, that's not by the people. That actually was a piece of rubber that came off the tire of a trucker's truck, off his tire when he was driving by. That was in the ditch for a long time.
Driving slow or dangerously, and to provide warning and education first. And then the next step, of course, would be enforcement.
He also said that some officers have been removing their name tags from their uniforms as photos and videos of the officers involved have been circulating online. And officers have the ability to remove.
Now, you see the tactical gear, guys? Look at this right here. Look at this. That's tactical gear. That's militarized. Look at their masks. That's militarized. They're in the back. Their reason is to shoot, to stun you, to shoot, to cripple you. They're not true RCMP. Okay? Like I said before, a friend of mine's in the military. He said, these are not true officers. They are for hire. So they're there to intimidate. You do not carry weapons, especially grenade launchers.
Move their name tag at their discretion. There is rain and snow.
If you look right here, watch the last guy was masked.
There is rain and snow.
Whoops. Right there where his arm right there, that's actually what he's carrying actually is a weapon, a big rifle, and actually has a grenade launcher. Every one of them pretty well has their rifles. And these guys are for real. They want us to be violent. So it gives them an opportunity to shoot. They want us to get upset, and they want it. So they gives them an opportunity to say, hey, we're defending the land. No, there is no identifying agency marks. They use a number. They took their numbers off. They took their name tags off, and then they said, "Well, we're afraid that they're going to track us down and find us where we live at our homes." Bullshit! You guys have been wearing freaking badge marks or name badges on your uniform for years. Have people like us have tracked you where you live? No, we couldn't give a rat's butt.
Discretion. There is rain and snow expected in the forecast for the rest of the week, so only time will tell just how committed these protesters are and if this protest will last. From West.
Okay, now we're gonna go there, leave that one out, and we're gonna go to the guys themselves. I'm gonna show you where now this is this, like I said before, this was. Let's get out of the advertisement of the government. Let's go to the people themselves. Okay, let's go back in here. Leave that part out.
Cars.
Kick that out. Now we're going to go into here. And I'm going to show you here. I mean, look. A snowman. They're having fun. Right? Let's put this here. Put this up here, guys. Hang on. Okay, they're having fun. Now, this is actually, this page here is Freedom George's page. I'm sure you remember him. Freedom George has been around. In the very first peaceful protest with the truckers convoy. Okay. No, I don't think so. Resume. They decided to put a missing child on my screen to block me. They're saying, "Oh, there's a missing child on your screen," and they decided to send me a thing and say, "There's a child missing." You're right. How come it's not going off like crazy? So see, that's what they do. They block things up. They're wanting to distract you when we're talking about this stuff. This is basically, like I told you guys, algorithms. They're blocking screens. Okay, now as you see here, see that like these guys are trying to have fun, right? This is what this whole thing's about. This is their own side. This is where they showing their view what's on the side. There must be at least 7 provinces that approve the change, representing at least 50% of the population of provinces combined. Now, there were over 350,000 signatures, okay? 350,000 signatures that says no carbon tax. And they want to axe the tax. And Trudeau said, I don't want to look at it. I don't care. Okay? His Liberal government. Oh, look at this boy. Carbon tax this. Look at this. Carbon tax this. Yep, he did. Flag upside down. And I love the sign, axe the carbon tax. These guys did a great job on that. In fact, these guys, somebody created a game. They have these fake axes, and you can actually, let me turn this around. Let's go back again so you guys can see this. I forgot to turn this back around again. Let's show you guys this. Oh, yeah, look at that. Axe the tax. Carbon tax this. Okay. Now go back here again, and you'll see the sign. Okay. These are the new sign, the new flags, axe the tax. These guys are trying so hard. They really don't want, we really don't want to be taxed. Okay. This is all what's going on. Now, Alex, Marco, and George, Lethbridge Provincial Courthouse. These are the guys that are still in jail. Come rally and show your support for these hometown heroes who start trial on April the 2nd, which was the day before yesterday, 2 days ago, the front of Lethbridge Courthouse. And that's where they were. Okay. So this is part of the Coots guys. They're still fighting for the rights. Nationwide protest, 24/7 demonstration to end the carbon tax. Now it's all over the provinces because even Saskatchewan's got it, Alberta, Manitoba, whoever in Quebec, Montreal, Ottawa, even British Columbia here. Everyone's participating in it. Now this was the last Monday or last April 1st, but there's more to it now. You can see all these places. Look, it's showing everybody all these locations where they're going to be, or where they had been. Look at all these locations. They're saying here's where they're going to be. All this, look at. And yet they went after Alberta. Okay? I'm not kidding you. So, and here's your cost of gas. Now, this is Alberta's cost for gas, folks. 3.890 times 12.23227, and it adds up to 47. Current billing is 138.92, and that is, come on, like it's getting worse and worse. So let's go here, and I'll back this up. Let's change this out. There's one, another one I want to show you guys. I'll take it to their website, and that's let's go to BC here for a moment. Where do we have BC? Okay, Saturday, April 6th, 12 p.m., Tim Hortons parking lot, Cranberry, BC, gather to be seen and stand together against the carbon tax. We need every person possible to make a loud statement. They're asking April the 6th at the in Cranberry, BC. to gather at Tim Hortons at 12 p.m. The parking lot. So only one Tim Hortons in Cranbrook? Okay. I thought there was more than one. Let's see. Oh yeah, this guy here. Let's bring him up. Now, this is on YouTube, and I want you to see this one. It's vitally important. Bring this one in. Okay. This is the guys that you need to see. Here we go. We're not going to make it long. We're going to do some briefings.
Hi, everyone. My name is Carl Deville. This is my friend Robert Dorion. We're here to speak on behalf of all Canadians that have issues with this carbon tax. Canadians rose on April 1st as a result of the implementation of the carbon tax. The protests are ongoing throughout this country as we speak right now. As a concerned Canadian, I am seeing in the protests is very concerning for many reasons. Firstly, I would like to implore that all parties, protesters, law enforcement, and Canadians who may feel inconvenienced by this protest, to exercise the utmost patience and understanding. I would also ask that everyone engage in a respectful dialogue to address any issues that might arise during this protest, while ensuring that they are safe, lawful, and peaceful, and that they respect all aspects of Canadians' rights to protest. If everyone involved in any aspect could be counted upon open, honest, and respectful dialogue, this would beget the trust amongst all to have a successful protest. Within the parameters of protesters' rights to protest and law enforcement mandates, thus keeping protests safe, peaceful, and lawful. Calm heads must prevail for everyone involved. Secondly, there is no set ground rules for protesters across this country to have a safe, peaceful, and lawful protest. Protesters are getting confused by what appears to be continually changing rules from law enforcement in some locations. I have witnessed videos where protesters and law enforcement officers are in discussion and trying to work it out. However, I think that we all agree on how frustrations can arise when the rules of engagements are unclear. This is not what is needed, nor is it beneficial. Changing the rules or threatening of arrest does not work in anyone's favor. Given this, we also petition the federal courts to immediate action on establishing a consistent ground rules for safe, peaceful, and lawful protests, while balancing the goals of all parties involved. As a concerned Canadian citizen, we ensure that success for all protesters have the democratic right to a safe and legal and peaceful manner. Law enforcement has the mandate to ensure that this is also the case. However, the rule of what is and what is not legal should not change during the course of a protest. Misunderstanding, miscommunication, and misinterpretation of laws and rights can lead to infringements on right or wrong from either law enforcement and or protesters' perspective. Some communication rule changes can be interpreted as an intimidation. A desired goal of our presentation today highlights these issues and proactive activities to take place rather than reactive, potentially knee-jerk reaction that could result in possible charges. Tying up precious court time and immeasurable resources on so many fronts.
Okay, what he's basically saying, he's saying the same thing was that they when they had the peaceful protest with the truckers. So I'm not going to go there, but I want to go into the next guy because there's more to it. Hang on a second, guys. Bring him in.
Je suis pas un politicien. Je fais pas partie d'un groupe organisé, structuré.
Oh, that's in French. Maybe it's French.
De Canadiens qui ont voté.
No, it's French. Okay. I'm not speaking French. We'll take it back. Anyways, what he's basically doing, he's saying the same thing, the rights of the people, you know, what they should do, that sort of thing. That's why I wanted to make this important. Like they're trying to say, for what they're pointing out is that we're trying to say, well, okay, you know, don't get violent, don't get angry, don't do this. The cops are doing this, the cops saying that. It's the same stuff, same story, same story. It hasn't changed. It's the same thing. Nothing's changed. So let's see here. Yeah. Let's see here. One here. I'm gonna click on that one. I'm gonna bring something else in, guys. So and that should be just the one. There is. Okay. Let's talk about this. This relates to everyone, really, not just Trudeau alone, but I'm going to bring this up. I'll bring this in here as well. Bottom line on Trudeau's announcement, it doesn't build any new homes. Now, what Trudeau's doing, he's it will give groups $1.5 billion to buy homes that already exist. Housing costs have doubled since he promised to lower them in 2015. Trudeau is not worth the cost of housing, and that's true. He's not. Okay, so what I'm pointing out, folks, that everything he's trying to show you, any kind of little game or any kind of ploy of saying, well, here's the guarantee, here's what you can do. It's not really happening. So we'll bring this one up to, no, that's not the one yet. Hang on. Click. That's not ready yet. There we go. Okay. It's very important that we do share this, what I'm sharing with you guys, because some of you may know more about it than I do, but I'm pointing out on the same day the Trudeau Liberals hiked the carbon tax, all MPs will receive a raise of $8,500 each. Trudeau's cabinet ministers will receive a raise of $12,000 each, and Trudeau will receive a raise of $17,000, and the Canadian MPs will become the second highest paid legislatures in the world. Okay, in the world. And where is all this money coming from? Our taxes, to raise his income. He's there for one reason, and so he can make money off of us. Anytime anybody who's and here's the thing, folks, when we vote for someone, we're supposed to trust them to help us. You know, why are they there to take away our rights? Why are they there? All, you know, oh, here, I want to vote for him. Next thing you know, if the guy's a jerk and he's a thief and whatever else, a liar, next thing you know, guess what happens? We're the ones that they go after. We're the ones that they want to make the major attack on. Oh, it's your problem. So the source is from the Canadian taxpayers of Federation. That's their goal. That's what they want to do. Okay. So I'm trying to point this out. And also, not yet. Wait on that one first. Got a reason for that one. Charlie Angus. What a jerk. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about him. Let's bring in Charlie Angus. This is your Charlie Angus. This guy here is the biggest schemer I have ever met. Veteran NDP, Charlie Angus leaving politics. Well, number one, he's leaving politics right now because he's under investigation. Gee, I wonder who's going to take him down. Think about it. Think about it. Who's going to take him down? Think about it. Cute. Angus actually wanted to get a bill passed to take your rights away from you. I'm not kidding you. He's the one that was the major shit disturber. But who will censor the speech of climate deniers? Now, what he had done, what this little jerk off did, is he decided to stay safe. He decided to join the Poilievre's people, and said, "You know what? I'm not going to no longer be a NDP. I'm going to join Poilievre's people. I'm going to be the good guy now." Who invented this whole bullshit news to take the rights away from people, and then he runs over to Poilievre's because he knows he's in deep shit. Think about it, right? If you guys know the story about what Angus had done, what bill he wanted to get passed, and he sure was pushing that bill so hard, he wanted to make himself think he's going to be the man of the hour. Never happened. So Angus is done. Historically done. Okay. Let's see who else we got here. I'm going to bring up. Oh, yeah. Here's what's next. I don't even have to say words. Okay. They're trying to start this again, and they're saying, oh, it's 100 times worse. No. I'll bring this on the screen. No, it's not, because it's a made-up story. They want you to be at home. They don't want you to leave anywhere. They're saying, oh, look at the check marks. Now, I've seen those hazmat people come to my house 17, 18 years ago, and they wanted me to help them find out who all the owners that have their own person, like their own budgies and budgigars and little birds in their own household, and they wanted to kill them all. Oh, this bird flu is going around, and you have to kill them all. No, you don't. They went down. They went to every small mom and pop business farmers, and they demanded to walk into the door and to kill all of your birds, every chicken, every duck, every goose, every turkey. And in fact, friends of mine that live in Abbotsford, that live on top of this mountain, which is actually the certain top of the mountain, and actually it's Crown Mountain. That means that even these hazmat assholes cannot even come anywhere near him. They try to come up to his place, try to enter his land. They want to walk into his barn, and he has organically grown turkeys. That means they're all raised naturally. There's nothing, and they are way up high in the mountains. They wanted to actually did not want to test the birds. They want to kill all the birds. He had over 500 turkeys that he was raising. That's how he makes his organic meat. He's making sausages and all that. He was doing fine, but he kicked them off the land, and he told them never to come back again. And they said, "We will be back, and if you don't let us back, you'll regret it." Now, that's what their threat was. You'll regret it. Then what happened was the next day, a small plane flew over their place and sprayed it. Like the spray came out of the top of the plane and sprayed the whole farm outside. And his wife and all the kids are outdoors. Next thing you know, the next couple of days, the wife was indoors. Sorry, she was indoors. He was outside. Suddenly, the next couple of days, all of a sudden, he was in the hospital emergency, and they said he's got cancer and he's only got X amount of days to live. See what I mean? If you're trying to say no, those guys back then, before Trump was president, they came in there. Like I said before, that was 17, 18 years ago. That was back in around 2000 and I would say 2007 or south 2008. And that's what they did. They flew, if they can't get into the barn, they fly over your place and spray it. And they'll spray you. If you're outside, they'll making sure you don't make it. And that's exactly what happened. I was so pissed off what they had done. So I lost a good friend who actually had organic turkeys. His wife survived, and and the children survived, but they were indoors, so it didn't affect them. But they nailed him outside. All his turkeys, they lost everything because all the turkeys died. Because he carried it in, whatever the spray was, he touched the turkeys, gone. They all got wiped out. He wiped whatever it was that was on his body, person. Because they had the vents open and they had fans to give it like the ventilation. It went right through the ventilation to the barns and killed all the turkeys. The next day, all the turkeys were gone, dead. Over 500 turkeys, just all at once, dead. And they were organically grown. There's no way those turkeys should have died. They died on their own. So if the hazmat people can't come into on your land, they're going to find a way to fly over you. So I always tell people, now I'm not saying this now, but that's what they did back then. So I tell people, be very sturdy and strong about standing up for your rights. Don't let them get away with it. And if they ever attempt to even try to fly over, and just let them know, you try and fly over my place, I will have you charged for stalking. Okay? Because they can't do that. Let's see here. One more thing I want to bring up here. Yeah, it's a little more like Amos Miller here in the States. He wasn't sprayed, but did win his court case against the USDA. Another friend of mine who's a farmer in Saskatchewan, he actually had naturally organic wheat farm, and Monsanto moved in. Monsanto bought a whole bunch of land next to the farmer. And they put in their wheat, their Monsanto wheat. And apparently their seeds came over to his land, the other farmer's land. And he didn't like it because he already know that's actually genetically modified. And he's always told people that his wheat is not genetically modified. So what Monsanto had done, they offered to buy his property, not the field, the property, like to get him out of there. And he refused. So they took him to court and sued the man. They sued him. He lost everything because they said all their seeds were on his land and they blamed him for it. And so they sued him. They had 3 lawyers. Monsanto lawyers came in and he lost his farm. He was 4 generations, lost his farm because of Monsanto. This was in Saskatchewan. I'm not kidding you guys. They got really, this is how evil people are. They want to take something away from you. You fight for your rights and do not ever give up. All you farmers out there, if you're actually, like I know sometimes people like to be private, but you're going to have to work out there and support each other and help each other out. Don't let this Monsanto, don't let any of these corporate companies trying to come in and try and take something from you. No. Get all you farmers out there and standing up for your rights. The South Asian East Indians, the Sikhs, were fighting for our rights 3 years ago, out on the streets saying no food, no farmers. They were already protesting way ahead here out in Vancouver and Surrey. And nobody really understood why they were protesting. We thought, okay, they're because they're farmers. No, now we realize it because Bill Gates' company and organization, their corporate businesses and other affiliates he's working with, were going to all the farmers' farmlands and offering to buy out their property. And if they refuse, then they'll say, okay, how about if we we'll pay you double for all the food that you grow, but we don't want you to sell it to anybody. They want you to destroy it. I'm not kidding you, because they don't want us to have the food. They don't want us to be healthy. And it was going on for the longest time. So I tell people, the farmers, all you farmers, no matter what it is, stand up for your rights. And anybody living outside of town, if you know a farmer and if you've been buying stuff from them, vegetables, fruits, you name it, support them, help them out, be by their side, give them some moral support. They need it. Protest with them if necessary if you can. If you got the time, do it. I'm not kidding you. It's really important, guys. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Coming up. Oh, yes, this one more here. So as you see here, okay, Justin Trudeau, father, prime minister, da, 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 da. And in there, it says Prime Minister Justice Trudeau. Grey Shirt met with York region leaders, including Newmarket, Aurora, and East Gilmanbury mayors last week to discuss the York's funding needs for such areas as affordable housing and transportation projects. Supplied photo. Okay. Now the crash. This is Crash Club York region getting money from Justin Projects remote control car crashes in York region. Gee, I wonder who this guy is right here. Guess what he's wearing? And guess what he's got down here? Think about it, guys. Okay. Don't tell anybody. YRP Executive Command, YRPA, Newmarket Courthouse, Crash Patterson, Gary Stiles, Melissa, Thomas, Gary Chief have been caught in, and a whole bunch of more. Okay. But here's the cool part. Look at the code. 911. That's who he is. He's 911. He is like the three towers. He intends to try to collapse us. That's why these peppers are hot peppers. They're hot news. But look at here. Who are these people here? Okay. Jaspreet Gill, all them. They're all part of this take of us. They're trying to do hurt. So watch carefully, folks. Watch your back. All these people. Okay. These are not good people. They're all bad ones. These are baddies. And look who's right behind him. Everyone's wearing a suit, and he's wearing just a shirt and tie. No care. Okay. That's the one there. All right. Take that out of there. Did that one already? Okay. Our good friends, D Truthers. They have another edition out. And it says, Trudeau demands life in prison for speech crimes. Are you kidding me? This is true, folks. He's demanding life in prison for speech crimes. But isn't that Mr. Blackface over there? Right? So, protect children from sexual exploitation, Canada must pass the Online Harms Act. Well, number one, Bill C-63, the Online Harms Act, he's using this, but he's covering his rear end because, see, of two young boys, because he already had them. Ooh, think about it. He was at Picton Farm. He was at the ranch constantly with little boys and little girls all the time. So all he's doing, he's protecting his own reputation, making sure you don't know anything about it. And, you know, like I said before, now, number one, as I've told you this many, many times over, he's the fake, but even though he's fake, the real one's gone, but still, that is important, folks, that you need to see it. That makes you see that you need to know what really went on or what has been going on. So he's playing it out. This guy here, who's the actor, he's playing the role. He's showing you that he can't lie to you. He's got to show you what he's doing. The real Trudeau would have lied to you. Okay. So, let's see, he's done that one there. Okay. And what am I missing here? Bring this up. Oh yeah, let's see. Let's do this one. Now we're going to go here. And we're going into Telegram. And my very good friend, Jordan Maxwell, he actually talked about the facts. Like, do you know these facts? And I'm saying I bring this closer, but I can't. Oh, can I? Yes, I can. Hang on. What did I do here? Okay. No, that's not part of it. Old one. I can do this. I want to make this a little larger so I can pick this up. Actually, I'll save this one out. I'll use it for next week for Jordan. But we already had the regular Canadians talk about this. But here, folks, look at this. Trump, Trump, true republic under military power. Okay. So this is my page called True North Strong and Free. It's on Facebook. Or it's on Telegram. That's my page here. This is who I am. Okay. You can find me in here. Join this page, and you'll learn a lot. We have more freedom to say, freedom of speech, freedom of everything and anything you want to share. This is what I use this all the time. And all these people that come in my page to drop their stuff inside because they're good people. They have their own stuff they talk about. Like there's some really good stuff in there. There's the de-truthers. And let's see here. Let's bring this back to the bottom. Yeah, this is the one. Makes a housing announcement. No, I don't want to. He's an idiot. Let's see here. You need to see this, guys. Okay, here we go. Let's bring this.
Tolerate anarchy on.
Now, they're saying they cannot tolerate anarchy, but they are the anarchy. Yeah, I'll bring this over. This is out of TikTok. Bring it bigger. This one here. Do it again. One more time. This is what they want to do. This is the game they play.
On the internet, the cost is too great. The safety, the mental health, and even the lives of our kids and our most vulnerable are at stake. I'm confident with the Online Harms Act in law, we can build safe online communities where our kids can flourish, where illegal hate is contained, and where citizens can fully engage in rigorous debate without fear of being targeted by threats, by violence, or by hatred. Right now, it is too easy for social media companies to look the other way as hate and exploitation festers on their platforms. This bill will require platforms to do their part and to do better to keep people safe from harm and exploitation, especially our children. Failure to do so will have a price, significant monetary penalties. I've thought into many aspects of this bill. There's an aspect that deals with
now, Justice Minister Ara Farani, harmful online content. Farani is a, how do you explain this part? Freemason. He's part of this, folks. Now, this Bill C-36, and again, that's all to do for him to what he's protecting his rear end too, literally bending over. But he believes that he's going to be the man that's going to put people behind bars. And yet everybody in here, okay, they want to do, if you think the censorship is bad, now wait till this passes. Hate speech, exploitation, bullying. You know what? I can understand exploitation and bullying, but you don't go put someone behind bars for bullying. You don't put someone behind bars for hate speech. Exploitation, yes, if it's sexual exploitation. If they're going after kids, yes. If they're actually stalking someone, yes. But this little life sentence part, that is horse crap. Okay? And they're using it, what they're trying to do, they want to shut down all of the social networks completely. They want to remove all the social networks, just like China. So you have no access to Facebook, no access to Instagram, no access to X. In fact, they're trying so hard. Our government right now is trying so hard to get at Telegram. They want to shut down Telegram. That they have no access to it. Guess what? They can't touch us. You know why? Because Telegram is run by the military. Yes, guys, it's controlled by the military. They cannot touch us. And Trudeau and his little people are trying so hard to scare us. They're just playing the game. Now, if anybody did break any rules or broke the laws, and these are called the think police. What they also want you to do is they want the neighbors to rat out on you. So if you say, "Oh, I hate Trudeau for this," and maybe your next door neighbor loves Trudeau or anybody else in government, they can rat you out and they take you to jail. So they say they're going to take you to jail. That's the game. It's a game. They can take you to jail. I don't care if you're from out of the country. If you're in the country, they said they're going to come and snap you up. Now, the reason why they're going to do that or say they're going to do that, the very first woman who got arrested in Australia, okay, and this is during when we had the COVID times, the very beginning, she spoke up about a specific politician and she didn't threaten his life. She says, how dare you, and she said, he's nothing but a jerk. Like she just said a few words, not threatening his life, just speaking her own opinion. 3 police officers came into her house, 9 months pregnant, she was, and arrested her, handcuffed her down to the floor, took her to jail, and she had her baby in prison. Now, and they told her that she was never, ever allowed to use the internet ever again, and never, ever, and she had to sign this paper if she wanted to be released, that she can never talk badly about any government officials or anybody of government ever again, or they should be rearrested and serve, like you see. Now that was Australia, serve time in prison. That was the first woman, and I had the video of it. It was really ridiculous. Some of you actually have probably seen that. We'll continue on the story.
The commission that's being created, and there's aspects that deal with criminal law. We are creating a new freestanding hate crime offense. We are enhancing the penalties, as you mentioned, for the hate crime offenses that exist currently. And we're also ensuring that a peace bond could be procured for somebody who there's a reasonable likelihood will create a hate crimes offense. But the maximum penalty for a crime such as advocating or promoting genocide should be increased. That penalty, as it stands right now, when you proceed by way of what's called an indictable offense, is 5 years. We are saying that at a maximum, that should be elevated to 25 years. There will remain a range that's available to the judge that is disposing of the case. What we're doing is creating a freestanding hate crimes offense, which touches any possible delict or crime under the Criminal Code of Canada. And I think what is important about it is that it gives the police and it gives prosecutors more flexibility in terms of contemplating this aspect on the front end of their delivery.
Now, did you hear what he said? Contemplating, thinking about it. He's telling you that you have no say in the matter, no voice. He wants to take your voice away from you. Now, Charlie Angus did the same thing. Charlie Angus wanted to do the same thing, take your voice away from you.
Deliberative exercise on the front end of how they will conduct their prosecutions is very, very important in terms of giving more tools to law enforcement. But secondly, it's important for denouncing what we are seeing right now, just laying out what constitutes a hate crime. There are hate crimes units among certain police forces in this country. In my view, there are not enough. What is critical in this legislation is that we are also entrenching a definition of hatred, which is critical. People say to me, well, do
you know who the biggest hate crime or hate person is right now? That man right there. He hates people. He just hates you, right? He just despises us.
Sharani, where did that definition come from? Is that something you guys just developed behind closed doors? Categorically not. That definition of what is hatred, what arises to the level of hatred, comes from Supreme Court. There are people that will pursue that criminal remedy, but for some people...
Notice how they cut and paste some of the stuff in there? See how they cut him off when he was like, these are liberals, okay? Notice how he was saying some words and they cut it off. They cut paste it because you're not supposed to hear what they're trying to explain. They only want you to know what they want you to think. So this is mainstream media, folks.
Some of the people that are right behind me, like Jane, who you just spoke to, what they want is for the material to just come down, right? They just want that stuff off of the internet. What we are doing is at the same time, we are addressing Canada Human Rights Act tools, criminal code tools, and tools through the new Digital Safety Commission that will help get this material out of public circulation, which is desperately what people need, especially our children. If you are affected by...
Now, you have to see this and hear this, because people like you, Layla, and everyone else, what this is for, even though you say, I can't listen to this, what this is for is to get others like yourself. You already know, my dear, you're wide awake. People like this out there need to stop worrying and stop being so freaking scared of a ridiculous liberal or any kind of government official. Those government officials are nothing but a waste of time. All they do is piss people off, and all they do is argue to control, see how many people can be told what to do and to be controlled. That's what their goal is. They're controlling the masses. That was their goals for centuries on down. And we sit there and we watch it because people become, in Canada, we become so passive. Oh, no, I'm not going to worry about it. Sure, I'll keep my mouth shut. I'm not going to talk. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to swear. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to think bad about that person. I won't do that again. So basically, it's mind control. This is all liberal government's trying to do, is mind control you.
What you think is content that is fomenting hatred, that meets that definition.
But they also added in there, they added the children to protect in the bill. So it's not about the children. They added the children into it to make you think it's about the kids. It's not. The bill is about to keep your mouth shut and not to argue. And they don't want you to talk about anything that you don't agree with. They're making it where it's illegal to even go against your government, illegal to stand up against a police officer, illegal to basically, they're taking away your rights and freedoms that's already in your Constitution. That already is in your government. They're trying to take that away from me, because Trudeau even said, or even others have said, they're removing the Canadian rights and freedoms out of the wall. They're going to remove it from the room, and they're going to make a brand new one. They cannot pass that on just the Liberals cannot just vote themselves, because the Conservatives never even voted for it. They voted against it. And half the NDP did not agree either. And some of the Liberals actually left the NDP, left the Liberals, and they came over to the Conservatives because they also too did not agree with it. Those guys in the background have no idea what's really going on. Look at the expression on their faces. Look at this man right here, like, well, I'm not sure if I should actually accept this bylaw. Maybe I'll get myself in trouble here. Watch.
What you can do is you can flag that content to the platform. One route. Second route is you can flag that content to the Digital Services Commissioner, and they can seek some response from the platform. The third route is that the platform, pursuant to this legislation, is going to implement a digital safety plan that talks about risks that are out there, what we're doing to reduce those risks, and they're going to be held accountable for what they are doing or not doing to reduce those risks themselves. If there is a situation where they're not abiding by the rules that they have set up for themselves, they can be subjected to penalties, and the penalties are significant. You heard me just touch on this in my comments. Those penalties touch as high as 6% of global revenue or $10 million, whichever is higher. That is a significant message to the platforms in Canada that their profit imperative solely cannot drive what is happening in Canada any longer. Safety has to be part of the equation.
I didn't know that we have to carry or have these little carriers on us now, that we have to wear helmets every day, all day. We have to put earplugs in every day. We got to put these safety glasses on every day. We got to put masks on every day that are made of plastic, they can't hear your voice. We got to put gloves on our feet, gloves on our hands. We have to be totally basically subjective, and a lot of these guys tell us what to do because he's calling everything safety. That's what they're trying to create, is fear mongering. The word safety is a code word to control you.
And we will ensure it is through penalties of that nature. Thank you very much.
And the penalty, geez, like hockey, we'll put you inside the box. I mean, come on. I mean, give me a break, guys. I mean, this is baloney. But that's exactly what they do. They're trying to make you believe that you have no power, and that's got to be. I mean, it's so ridiculously stupid, absolutely stupid. Okay. So, anyways, I want to thank everybody for being on the program and watching this. Please like and share this, folks, around everywhere. I wanted to share this with you regarding our axe attacks, and there's so many things out there. Like I said, I've got some other things I wanted to share with you, but I think I pretty well have everything already down pat. Yeah, I did it 3 times. So, but if I do find more stuff, I'll share with you guys and take good care of each other. Yeah, you bet read parts of Bill C60, Bill 63. It's a genius way to hide the truth intent. That's what it is, to hide the truth intent of the legislation. Because, I mean, Trudeau and Christopher Freeland and a few others, I mean, they're not nice people. They're bad people, really bad. I'm talking about crimes against humanity. And they will be taken care of very, very soon. But they are doing that. They're put there for a reason. Oh, by the way, just the other day, Christopher Freeland she glitched. She glitched. I watched her glitch. She went like, and I went, oh, clone. She cloned out. She glitched, and nobody paid attention to it. Everybody thought, oh, something wrong with that woman. Yeah, she's a clone. They cloned her. She's glitched. Anyways, but you had to see that. They're trying to show you. But other than that, folks, if you have anything you want to share, please. And again, if those are Canadians out there, folks, we're Axe Attacks, stand support each other. And like I said before, there's some really great stuff out there. If you want to share more, and please join. If you have not joined Telegram, please join Telegram. It's worth your while. You have more freedom to say what you want. Our government cannot say nothing about it. Cannot even find. They got nothing to say. We're well taken care of. They can't shut us down. Also, but they're trying so hard to play the game. We're just going to go. I'm just running along with the ride. We're fine. But again, that's just a ploy, and this tax crap. Tax is illegal. Has always been illegal. And the public, I mean, there's 360 some odd thousand people that actually signed a petition of saying that they don't agree with the tax increase. And Trudeau said, no, I don't accept this. I'm not going to happen. I'm going to do it anyways. Nobody cared. He didn't care if anybody voted it. He was going to do it anyways. Okay. So you can and have the right. And I spoke to a lot of people, and they all said this. Everyone I spoke to had said, and most people told me this themselves, they have not been paying their taxes for the last 3-4 years. Since they're going, and no one, and the government's not going after them because every tax revenue center has closed. Did you know that? Yes, they have. So you're trying to still learn the best way to grow my Telegram page. Your best, Scott, set it up as your own, like your Earth. Do an Earth page. Make that as your group, and then your own personal. Like join up as Scott here, and then make your own Earth group, and then drop stuff in. Like get people go into some of the other groups and get to know people. Join in, and just let people know that you want to, whatever thing you want to talk about, any type of projects or programs, anything that you feel it's important to talk about, drop it on your page, and then get people to follow you. You just say, here's what I'm doing. It works. Let's see. They cut my friend's bank account recently after not paying taxes with their businesses. They cut my friend's bank account recently after not paying taxes with. They cut it? They can't. It's illegal. Yeah, they can't touch you. That's illegal. They can't do that. See, you got to really stand up and say they can't do that, because they have to use what's called the 1951 War Act tax, which means that they cannot force you to pay tax because you're paying. And you got to tell them that, folks. Clark, you can tell your friends this. They're paying into a corporation. A corporation is not government. A corporation is a profiteering organization. They hand the money over to a government to basically control you, what you got. So they're under corporation. She has no access to her funds. You're kidding me. So somebody's locked it out, and you got to find out, track it out, find out who's doing it. They froze the account. Well, there's got to be something more than just not paying taxes. If they froze the account, that means they're trying to see how much they can scare. You can. Now, the biggest mistake people do, their banks, if you're actually using a corporate bank, Clark, find out if your friend's using a corporate bank account. If it's a corporate bank account, that's why they freeze it, because they're under a corporation. But if you're under for example, like I say, Westminster, like a savings bank, that means you're a shareholder. They can't freeze it. The government can't touch it. You're a shareholder. No government has any rights to freeze your account. None. You have the right to get your money back. She's full common law claim of live life. Yeah, they can't do that. They can't freeze her. She's already full common law. They can't touch her. See, there's the thing. They want her to pay taxes. Their taxes are illegal. They can't touch her, and she can use that. She can go to court and see. She can actually seize the court. She can actually. What she has to do, she's got to sue. I absolutely go crazy. Sue their asses. But you need to go after Trudeau. Sue him. Sue the bank. And you need to go after the banks, by the way. Whoever the employees are, you need to expose them. Go after the banks. Sue the bank manager. Go after them. You got to go to the personal part. That, like, your bank manager is the one responsible for freezing your bank account. They're the ones that open and close it. And you got to go into the bank, ask for the name of the bank, the manager. There's actually a form. You go out. Where's my paper here? There's a form that you get them to fill out the form, which basically so they can remove the seizure of your account. And you basically are threatening for crimes against humanity. You're actually filling out the form, and this is going to be charging them for crimes against humanity. You got to go after them that way. This is the only way you can do it. You'll win. She will win her case. That's the only way. You got to let her know that Trudeau is not our prime minister. Okay, not true prime minister. That we have the commander in chief. You can also use under 13919 and the criminal code that they have to release the money back to her. Find other people who have had the same done and file a class actions lawsuit. Yeah, exactly, Scott. Same thing. It's important that you do that. Where's my other paper? Where to put it? There is a page. Put it over here. 1 second, guys. Whoop, my mic fell. Okay. Anyways, guys, gotta let you go. Thank you very much for being on the program, and we'll talk to you guys next time. In the meantime, be good to each other. May God be with you guys, and we'll talk to you guys next week. Please like and share this show everywhere you go. Take care. Okay, where are we doing here? Close all.
Everyone lives, everyone dies. Everyone loves, everyone cries. Round the world, we're all alike. So why is it war? Why do we fight? There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. When one hurts, when one needs, we all gotta learn to live together. Peace, peace, make peace, peace. All right. Is there a time when the stars die? stop crying. Stop the fighting and the hate. We gotta make peace before it's too late. There's one sea, one sky, one earth. So you and I gotta learn to live together. With one heart, with one need, we all we gotta learn to live together. Peace in peace, in peace. All right, peace, peace together.